actors that I get to meet. Keep going, you're one job away. I look forward to working with you. I'll see you on set.
But thank you for giving me a seat at the table, because so many of us need this. We want to be seen, we want to be heard.
The truth of the matter is I'm 64 years old and this is just amazing.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Hanna Olivas with The Rise, and I am joined today with Rob Shuter, who is phenomenal for so many reasons. I'm just going to say I am truly impressed at everything that Rob has done. He is a talk show host, journalist. He also is the creator and host of the podcast Naughty But Nice. And he is joining us today to give us the dish on the 29th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards. And I'm so honored that you're here. Not to mention, you are also an author, and I did just grab your book.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to join you. Hopefully it's the first of many, many reoccurring chats. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it will be. I think you're my new go-to. So we're talking about Screen Actors Guild. Let's talk about some of the hits and misses that we saw yesterday. What is definitely something that just made your jaw drop?
What's really popping is the fact that everything, everywhere, all at once. It won in all 5 major categories other than the non-TV categories. And I think this is the first time that has ever happened. So going into the SAG Awards, I think a lot of people thought Elvis Presley, Austin Butler would win. I also think too that people were not so sure that this movie would go and win the Oscars. The SAG Awards are very important, but when it comes to actual business and making money, which is really what the movie business is about, the Oscar really is the big final climax. And so everybody wants to know what happens with the Oscars. It's only about 2 weeks away. And remember, voting closes this week. So there's still a few more days left for people that have not voted yet. I'm now predicting, because of the SAG Awards, Everything Everywhere is probably now the favorite to win Best Picture and also maybe Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress.
I couldn't agree more. I saw such a shift in this year's awards and just the whole, I don't know, there were so many different, like you said, so many different things happening at one time. But one thing that I did notice is there were so many people who had a similar unity in the sense of talking about working with an incredible cast, having that incredible team. We saw history actually yesterday on a few different levels, like Sally Field. I mean, what an incredible tribute to her. And I also saw, with Michelle Yeoh. I mean, wow. That's all I can say is wow.
Yeah, just literally wow moments. I know what you're saying now. Remember the SAG Awards, they are only voted on by fellow actors. So the Oscars, all those other award shows, there's thousands of people that vote, and they're not all actors. In fact, actors are not even the majority of people that vote at the Oscars. The SAG Awards, it's all actors. So whatever you do for a living, whoever's watching, whatever you do for a living, this is like your peers voting for you. So for me, it would be people that were entertainment columnists that would vote for me. So this is why the award is so important to actors, because it's coming from their community. This is coming from their peers, the people that they really want the most respect for. And that's why often, and let's be honest, actors sometimes are known for being a little bit narcissistic. It's always about themselves. I think at the SAG Awards, it's that one moment when you have to acknowledge the entire community of actors. And that's why so many speeches were so inclusive. And let's remember too, it's one of the few award shows that actually honor casts, best cast. So it's not just about the individual, it's about actors as a group, and how basically, which I think is so lovely, is that, and Jennifer Coolidge is somebody that's certainly really leaning into this, is that, yes, you can be really, really successful for a moment, but then that baton gets passed to somebody else. And all these actors that we think are superstars for a really long time, they were not. Jennifer Aniston makes fun. She said she got her SAG card from making a dopey commercial. We won't remember that, but she does. It's like you remember your very first job. Mine was at Pizza Hut, and I still remember that first job. And so this is a lovely way for actors to remind themselves and the rest of us that, yes, at the moment they are at the top of their game, but like all of us, they did the work, and this is the end result. They did the work.
I think too, like you talk about, it is, they vote for their peers. So you can really sense that community feeling. That was the biggest thing that I noticed. It wasn't so much the red carpet and there was a lot that happened, but what I did see was everyone coming together, really celebrating one another, which is incredible because, as you said, sometimes celebrities make it all about them. But that's not what last night looked like. I mean, we saw some emotional acceptance award speeches like Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, I've had the privilege of seeing her a few times in person and talking with her, and she always takes the cake. Like, she's just a force of energy. But she shared her age. She shared, her trials and failures and wins, learns, whatever you want to call them. And she just is so graceful and timeless. Like, nobody really, you just can't, with her. There's, yes. I talk about Jamie.
She's great. She's just great. I've met her a few times too. She's just great. And who you want her to be is exactly who she is. And that often isn't the case, not just with celebrities, but other people you've met throughout your life. But you're right. I think that you're so smart to acknowledge and to recognize that this is a community, and we all have our own different communities in our own jobs. This is their union. It literally is their union. So it's a bunch of friends or people that work in the same field, getting together, having a lovely night. There's part of me that is sick of award shows, and rewarding rich, famous people can be annoying. But I think that this really puts it into perspective that it takes years and years and years of work, of dedication to the craft to get up on that stage. And it's lovely to remember that. And it's sort of inspiring too. When I think about my own success, it looks really good at the moment because I'm now 10, 20, 30 years into this. But if I could look back at young Rob and the first story I ever wrote, the first podcast I ever made, they were awful, just awful. And now I'm good at it because I did the work. If there's one takeaway from this, and I know it sounds silly because we're talking about rich, famous people, do the work. And I promise you, you've got a really good chance of succeeding if you are consistent and you do the work.
I noticed this other thing that was going across the awards, and I saw these incredible women. The diversity in that room last night was breathtaking. And I feel like we really shined on women and ageism. What do you think?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The media, including myself, have this horrible habit of pitting women against each other. It always gets the most readers, the most clicks. And in reality, that isn't the case. And it certainly doesn't have to be the case. And I've made this mistake in my life too. I didn't think there was enough pie for all of us. So I tried to gobble up as much as I could, and I wouldn't share it. And I've learned that that's a terrible, terrible mistake. And I think last night we got to see there's plenty of room for everybody to be at the table. We can all share in this. In fact, the pie gets even bigger the more people we invite in. It doesn't get smaller. And so to remind ourselves of that in our own lives, I think is a really valid, really good point. And let's be honest, I think one of the last isms that we're still allowed to be prejudiced about is age. Madonna's been talking about this recently, and it's the one thing, particularly for women. Men are allowed to age, and women are not. Colleagues of mine, better reporters, better gossip columnists than I am, are no longer in the business because they are women, and they're not getting the same opportunities. And I keep getting booked and I keep doing really well. And I wonder if I was a woman, if that would be the case. And I'm actually ashamed to say I'm not sure the answers. Yes, it's still out there. Anybody that pretends it isn't is not telling you the truth. And so I agree, that's what made last night particularly special, seeing these wonderful women at all different ages really celebrating together. It was a delight.
I couldn't agree more, but I do have to say that I totally gravitated to Ki Hui Kwan when he gave his emotional, vulnerable acceptance speech. You could feel it.
When I heard this, I quickly realized that this moment no longer belongs to just me. It also belongs to everyone who has asked for change.
Like, he actually really truly made history in a sense and opened up the doors for so many. And that was another tone that I heard last night was, come on, maybe you're next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be proud of who you are and what you're doing. And I was just, I mean, I was tearing up just listening to him, and it was so incredible, the humbleness of him. And I was amazed by so many things. Another one that stood out to me was Jennifer Coolidge. In fact, you quoted saying exactly who you want her to be is who she is. She is a riot, like this force, she's like the combo, the perfect storm.
Yeah. I love those two examples. And I think what makes them so special is how authentic they are. And it's a lesson for us all. Be you. That's your secret power. That's your superpower, is that you are you and nobody else is. And don't make the mistake of writing down a speech that maybe you didn't even write. Maybe a publicist or a manager wrote that speech. Do your own. And I found in life, when I talk from my heart, when I'm not reading notes, reading my phone, but when I talk from my heart, that's when I've been the most successful. And so don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to be emotional. Don't be afraid to tell the truth, because the chances are other people are feeling exactly the same way as you are feeling right now too. And so I like that too. Actors by definition read other people's words. They read scripts. They're on the screen, small screens, big screens, performing somebody else's dialogue. The writers are literally putting words in their mouths. And so when it comes to these type of award shows and they finally speak up, my doggy Darby says hello, when they finally speak up and talk themselves, it's just so refreshing and it's lovely to see. It's two great moments for sure.
You're one of the most humble men that I've come across. And I do remember meeting you at Newsmax, and I thought, wow, what a guy.
I remember saying hello to you. You walked into the studio, and it's quite weird sometimes when you do these TV shows. Behind the scenes is a green room. That's what they call it. It's never green, which is quite bizarre, but there's always a green room. And it's a little nerve-wracking to walk into a room where all these people are sitting in full hair and makeup, and you know nobody. And so I remember you walked in and I smiled, and you had a lovely smile and a great story. And we started to chat there. Talk to people. I'm a naturally nosy person. I've always been nosy. And so I love people's details. I love knowing about their lives. And so it was such a thrill. This is such a full circle thrill from meeting you 6 months ago in a green room, a random green room, and just saying hello, and now look at us. So no, say hello to people, get curious. Some people think it's nosy. I like to call it curious. Be curious about everybody.
I love it. And I can't wait to see you in person again. So one last question for you. What did you think about, another trend that I saw happening last night that a lot of people don't take into consideration is the prep that these celebrities do to attend. The gowns, the makeup, the hair, the shoes that hair. And I watched these incredibly talented, beautifully gifted women walk up to the stage gracefully and really having to hold it all together. I even saw someone walking up the stage with a brace and her shoes. And I thought, wow, they're human. They're all just like us. They go through things like we do. And I thought, when one of them took a little tumble, she gracefully picked herself back up and she kept going. And these are real life things that happen.
They happen. They happen. I think we live in this fantasy that everything has to be perfect, and it really doesn't. A little tumble on the steps, I think, got more attention for Jessica Chastain, who won, than actually winning. So it's all good. I don't know if you know this, but before I was an entertainment reporter, a gossip columnist, I was a publicist. So I worked for J-Lo, I worked for Alicia Keys, I worked for Jessica Simpson, Naomi Campbell. And to get Jennifer ready for an award show takes months. So the gown has to be selected. The gown has to be flown in, probably from Paris. Then it has to be fitted. Then she might change her mind and want to wear a different dress. And then also, too, it's a little bit like high school. There's sort of like a hierarchy. The bigger celebrities get the better clothes. So if you're on a TV show, you're not going to get that Dolce & Gabbana dress unless a movie star passes on it. And only one of you can wear that dress to the award show. So it's actually like a mad scramble. But just to re-loop back to something we said earlier, they all have teams. They have stylists. They have people who help them do this. They have hair and makeup folks who are sometimes even in the limo with them. I went to the Oscars, or it might have been the Golden Globes, with Jennifer Lopez. And I remember her hair and makeup people were working on her till the very, very last minute. And so, yes, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's Jennifer Lopez. But also, too, she has a great team about her. And I think that's sort of like the message of today's show, is that surround yourself by good people, people that are good, talented, and everything works out better.
I couldn't agree more. So what do you think we have in store, in the sense of what do we get to look forward to the Oscars?
Well, the Oscars, yeah, it's going to be fun now because we don't know who the winner's going to be. Obviously, I think a lot of people think Everything Everywhere has a really good shot. I'm also hearing too from my sources in LA that don't count out Top Gun. Tom Cruise is one of the few major movie stars who's never won an Oscar. Julia Roberts has one, Brad Pitt has one, George Clooney. So there's a lot of goodwill towards Tom. Plus, let's remember, after the pandemic, movie companies were terrified that we were not going to go back to the cinema. And Top Gun was the movie that brought us all back out. That was the movie that said, everybody, so it's going to be okay. So there's a lot of goodwill towards Tom Cruise and Top Gun. So I still think Top Gun could pull it out. And then Best Actor, I think we all thought it was going to be Austin Butler, Elvis Presley. The Oscars love it when they act and when they perform a role of a celebrity. So maybe, but now that Brandon Fraser won the SAG Awards for The Whale, he's got a really good shot too. So I think it's going to be a fun Oscars. And then great too, we know Rihanna's going to be performing. So after the Super Bowl, her next gig is at the Oscars. I hear Lady Gaga is going to take the stage as well. So I think it's going to be a really exciting night. Some of those nights for me, the Oscar nights, when we're not quite sure who's going to win, those are the most exciting. So I think this year it's going to be a really fun Oscars.
Well, I am definitely looking forward to it. And thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you again.
I can't wait. Next time you're in New York, we'll go and get drinks.
Definitely.
Gossip
Thank
and drinks.
you so much.
Take care, my friend.
Thank you for this great honor from you, the people I most wanted respect from in my life.